It's time to try to make use of what we open. It's Welcome to Wrath Sealed. Hi friends, welcome back to Nearly Sane Games. I'm Neil, and this is the Armory Report. Last night's Armory event was a Welcome to Wrath Sealed event. So let's take a look at the deck that I built. First off, we're going to be doing a Bravo deck, and he allows us to give big attacks and dominate, and his hammer, Onothos. We have our equipment, our Guardian head equipment, which can give us one intellect till the end of turn. If we can use that, it does not have go again though. And so maybe we can use that. It does have Battle Worn 1, so good as any Iron Rot. Some Iron Rot legs to give us one defense, and a Goliath Gauntlet to give us some extra pump to one of our big attacks. Now we look at our red attacks. We've got a Crippling Crush. Unfortunately, this just says this blocks for 3. Never able to have that 7 available to make this card work. A little bit difficult to make work in sealed. We have a couple of 8 power attacks. These require 4 pitch to get to, which makes them a little bit awkward, but there's times that we can get there. And then we have a couple more. We have a Cartilage Crush that attacks for 7, costs 3, and Demolition Crew. This one we need an extra card because we need to reveal an extra card in our hand that costs 2 or greater to even play this. But if we do that, it does have Dominate, and that's a pretty good deal. We do have some defense reactions here. 2 blue unmovables. Not my favorite, but for 3 we can pop this out from our arsenal and get 6 block off of that. And then we have 1 red Staunch Response. This is a pretty good defense reaction, especially with as many Dories as going around out there. 2 and be able to block for 7 is really good. Now we have some of our mid-tier stuff. These are all 6 attacks for 3. Not as great, but this will kind of shore up those hands that we don't have our big attacks. We also have a couple of Slogisms, a red and a yellow. These are big pumps, but they do cost a lot. They're 3 costs to make these things happen, and you need to have a 2 cost attack or greater, but +5 and +6 are excellent. And they also combo very well with the Regurgitating Slogs. If you play a Slogism and then can follow it up with a Regurgitating Slog, you can banish the Regurgitating Slog. You can banish the Slogism from your graveyard and give the Regurgitating Slog Dominate, and it becomes a very large attack. That's a big problem. We only have 1 pummel. I would have liked more attack reactions, but this is what we were left with. And we have a bunch of auras. Didn't like these auras that much. I don't generally like to have them, but +3 if we can get it seems okay. Blessing of Deliverance actually came into play a couple times to gain a little bit extra life. I don't remember using Stonewall Confidence. That just ended up being pitch. And speaking of pitch, we have a few Guardian blue pitches to use, and then the rest of our deck is made up of generic blue pitch so that we have extra things to pay for our large attacks. Not quite as many as I would like. I think I would have liked to have some more blue pitches. I did have some more generics that I would not be able to play at all and would only be blue pitch. And at times I think I would have rather had those in the deck than maybe some of these auras, especially the red auras. These could have gone, and if I could have had brought in another 2 blue, I think that would have helped me out in some of those turns. You really want to have a lot of blue. For Guardian, I would suggest, if possible, get up to half the deck being blue, and then you can make sure that these big turns, these big attacks, you're hitting every turn, which is very important. All right, so let's go on and see how we did with this. Overall, I was pretty happy with the deck that I built. I probably could have gone Ninja as well, but I wasn't comfortable playing Katsu, to be honest. Wasn't comfortable playing Bravo either. But here we are, and let's see how we did. My first round was against a Dory, and this round was totally my fault. I take total blame for it. I missed the ability to use Bravo's ability and dominate a 12 power attack, which would have given me the win. But I missed that. Just wasn't familiar enough with Bravo and was excited that I got my 12 power attack. But that aside, the blue unmovables were very useful in this game. It was great if I could get them into Arsenal and then play them from there. Also good from hand, although in general you want to try not to play out of hand as much as possible against Dory, because her attacks with the reprise gets a lot of benefits as soon as you start shelling things out from hand. But at some point you have no choice and you have to go with that. So my 12 attack did a lot of damage, but then I couldn't just close out the game from there. We got down to 1-1, and he had a Nimble Strike with Go Again that I was able to block, but then came in with another 6 attack, and I had two blocks, and that was the end of that. So round 2 was against a Rhinar. Now I was a little bit surprised to see a Rhinar because I think Dory, Bravo are probably the more popular ones. Dory, Bravo, and Katsu are going to be the most probable opponents you're going to find in Sealed. Rhinar, just, you really need the right card pool to pull that off. And even then, it's going to be difficult because you're only going to have so many class cards to use. And then you're going to have to fill out the rest with generics. So Rhinar is probably the underdog in this. And he was coming in with some big hits. He did manage to hit me with a pummel. It was telegraphed. I could see it coming, but I really liked my hand, and I wanted to try to push that. And so I made sure that he had it. He had it. And took the hit, lost a card there. At one point late in the game, he tried to play Demolition Crew, but didn't have the card to reveal. That is not an optional for playing Demolition Crew. You must reveal a card with power 2 or greater that doesn't give it Dominate, that allows you to play the card. So he had to roll that back and just throw a club attack at me. I was able to take that and return fire. I believe he was at 2, I was at 1, but I was returning back with a Slogism plus a Crush Confidence for 11. He had 6 worth of block. He had an energy potion in hand. It didn't block, so I was able to get the win there. Round 3 was against another Dory. I started out and didn't like my hand, but I needed to throw something at him. So I boosted up at Demolition Crew, and with my Goliath gauntlets, so 8 Dominate to start, got all of his armor right away, and I didn't like the card I put in my arsenal, but I figured it was probably better to put in my arsenal and draw back up to 4. It was, I think I just had a yellow Slogism that attacked for 6, which wasn't my favorite. But I was able to make that work a little bit later. I got Slogism, a yellow Slogism plus a yellow Regurgitating Slog for 10 Dominate. I really like that combo so that you can Slogism, banish the Slogism with the Regurgitating Slog and get Dominate on that. It's a pretty decent attack, but I was quickly getting behind. I got down to 6. He was still at 9. but I managed to hit him back, or he took a hit. Sometimes Dory just likes to take the hit because a full grip of cards from Dory is scary. But I got him down to 3. I was still at 6. He sends over an E-Strike for 7. Has no cards left in hand. So I figure that this was the time. I have to make it happen. I block 3, go down to 2. But I was able to return a dominated 8 power buckling blow. And I had to get 3 damage through and just had to hope for the best. He had a full grip of cards, and he decides to Hope Merchant's Hood to see if he can find a defensive reaction. And he finds a defense reaction that blocks 5. 3 still gets through. I'm able to kill him. Whew. Tough match, but got there in the end. Round 4 was against another Dorinthia, and I had some really bad hands. This is where I think swapping out for those, getting rid of those red emerging powers and just having more blue pitch available to me would have been better. I had some hands that were yellows and reds, or mostly reds. Just, it made blocking difficult, and I wasn't able to really return the big power plays that I needed. He ran over a Slogism with the Wounded Bull for 10. Was not ready for that. And so I had to have a big block for that. We were both at 1 at the end of the match. I was fatigued. I had everything left in my hand. Not much I could do. He swung a big attack into me, and I just didn't have the rest to block with. So he took that match. So all in all, my sealed events, I went 2-2. Not going to be real upset about those numbers. Sealed is very difficult. This was really my first time trying out Bravo as my sealed attack, which it's just difficult. Sealed is a different format that I probably need more practice with. And Welcome to Wrath is a set that I didn't have a lot of experience with that. So I could probably still use more practice rounds playing with Ninja, playing with Dory, and playing with Bravo to figure out their lines, figure out what cards really work well, and exactly how to set up those attacks that I need. So maybe next time. So until then, this has been the Armory Report.